In a quiet town on the outskirts of Leon, Mexico, an adventure turned into a harrowing ordeal for Antonio, a local man with a penchant for exploration. Known for his curiosity and love of the outdoors, Antonio had often ventured into the woods and along the banks of the nearby river, finding solace in the quiet beauty of nature. But on this occasion, his adventurous spirit led him into a situation that would test his endurance and survival instincts like never before. But hey, before we dive into the story, do yourself a favor and pause the video right now. Go hit that like button and let's see if we can make this video reach 1,000 likes. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to your favorite story channel. Also, make sure to ring the notification bell so you never miss out on the latest and weirdest stories. Trust us, you won't want to miss what's coming your way. Now, sit back, relax, and prepare to be amazed as we take you on an unforgettable ride. Don't forget to engage with us in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Without further ado, let's dive right in. It all began on an unremarkable afternoon when Antonio, eager to explore the hidden corners of his town, decided to investigate the drainage system that ran beneath the streets. The drainage tunnels, typically avoided by most locals, had always intrigued Antonio. He had heard stories of the vast network of underground passages that wove beneath the city, a labyrinthine maze that connected the river to the urban landscape above. Driven by curiosity, Antonio entered the drainage system through an opening near the river, confident that he could navigate the tunnels and emerge safely on the other side. With a flashlight in hand and a sense of excitement in his heart, he ventured deeper into the darkness, unaware of the challenges that lay ahead. At first, the exploration went smoothly. The tunnels, though dark and damp, were wide enough for Antonio to walk through comfortably. He marveled at the intricate construction of the underground system, appreciating the craftsmanship that had gone into its design. The distant sound of water echoed through the tunnels, creating an eerie yet fascinating atmosphere. However, as Antonio continued to explore, the tunnels began to twist and turn in unexpected ways. What started as a straightforward path soon became a confusing maze of intersecting passages. The further he went, the more disoriented he became. The cool, damp air that had initially felt refreshing now seemed to close in around him, and the light from his flashlight struggled to pierce the darkness. Realizing that he might be lost, Antonio tried to retrace his steps, but the tunnels all looked the same. The echoes of his footsteps and the distant trickle of water made it difficult to discern the direction from which he had come. Panic began to set in as he understood the gravity of his situation. The walls of the tunnel seemed to close in around him, and the once exciting adventure had turned into a nightmare. Antonio's attempts to find his way back to the entrance were in vain. Every turn seemed to lead him further into the depths of the underground system. Hours turned into days, and Antonio's hope of finding an exit began to fade. His flashlight, once a beacon of comfort, began to flicker as the batteries drained. The darkness, now complete, felt suffocating, and Antonio could do little more than blindly feel his way along the cold, damp walls. Above ground, life went on as usual in the city of Leon. Residents went about their daily routines, unaware of the drama unfolding beneath their feet. Some locals mentioned hearing faint, distant cries, but dismissed them as tricks of the wind or the sounds of the city. For 3 agonizing days, Antonio wandered through the tunnels, his strength waning with each passing hour. He called out for help whenever he thought he heard noise above, but his voice was swallowed by the vastness of the underground system. Exhausted and dehydrated, he began to fear that he would never see daylight again. It was on the 3rd day of his ordeal that Antonio's luck finally changed. A local woman, passing by a manhole cover on a quiet street, paused when she thought she heard something unusual. The sound was faint, almost imperceptible, but there was no mistaking it, a desperate, muffled cry for help coming from beneath the street. The woman, whose name was Maria, stopped in her tracks and listened intently. The cries grew clearer as she approached the manhole cover, confirming her suspicions. With her heart racing, Maria immediately ran to the nearest building and alerted the authorities.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo? Antonio.
Within minutes, a team of rescue workers arrived on the scene, equipped with tools to lift the heavy manhole cover.
Antonio. ¿Sí le haces o no, padrino?
As the cover was removed, a thin shaft of light pierced the darkness below, revealing the disheveled figure of Antonio, huddled at the bottom of the sewer. His clothes were soaked, his face pale, and his eyes hollow from the ordeal. But despite his weakened state, the sight of the rescuers brought a surge of relief. Carefully, the rescue team helped Antonio out of the manhole, lifting him into the fresh air and sunlight. The ordeal had left him exhausted, but the knowledge that he was finally safe gave him the strength to smile weakly at his rescuers. A small crowd had gathered, drawn by the commotion, and they watched in silence as Antonio was placed on a stretcher and taken to a nearby hospital for a medical evaluation. The news of Antonio's rescue spread quickly through the city, and the story of his 3-day ordeal captivated the community. Local news outlets covered the incident, and soon the story was picked up by media outlets across the country. Antonio's survival in the face of such dire circumstances became a tale of resilience and determination, inspiring many who heard it. Videos of Antonio's dramatic rescue, captured by onlookers and shared on social media, quickly went viral. The footage showed the moment he was pulled from the sewer, a man who had faced the darkness and emerged alive. The videos, viewed by thousands, drew comments from people expressing their relief that he had been found and their admiration for his strength. In the days that followed, Antonio remained in the hospital, recovering from the physical and emotional toll of his ordeal. The doctors were cautious but optimistic about his recovery, noting that he had survived in conditions that would have tested the limits of anyone's endurance. Antonio, for his part, was grateful to be alive and overwhelmed by the outpouring of support from the community. While Antonio's story was one of survival, it also served as a cautionary tale. The incident prompted local authorities to issue warnings about the dangers of entering drainage systems and other underground structures without proper knowledge or equipment. They emphasized the importance of heeding safety warnings and understanding the risks of exploring unknown places. In reflecting on his experience, Antonio realized that his adventure had taught him a profound lesson about the fragility of life and the importance of respecting nature's power. What had started as a simple exploration had nearly cost him his life, and he vowed to approach future adventures with greater caution and preparation. As Antonio slowly regained his strength, he was visited by many of the people who had followed his story. Among them was Maria, the woman who had heard his cries and played a crucial role in his rescue. Meeting her face to face, Antonio thanked her with tears in his eyes, knowing that without her sharp hearing and quick action, he might never have been found. The story of Antonio's ordeal and eventual rescue became a part of the local lore in Leon. It was a tale that parents shared with their children, a reminder of the importance of safety and the dangers that can lurk in unexpected places. The videos of his rescue continued to circulate online, keeping the memory of his experience alive and serving as a testament to the human spirit's resilience. Meanwhile, in Essex, England, another story of survival unfolded as a man found himself trapped in a drainage system after a misstep. Like Antonio, this man spent 3 harrowing days underground, navigating the labyrinthine tunnels in search of an escape. His journey, however, had a somewhat lighter ending. The unnamed man, upon finally emerging into the daylight in Romford, Essex, was greeted by a small crowd of onlookers who had gathered after hearing his cries for help. When asked about his condition, the man's first words were not of fear or relief, but rather a request. "Does anyone have a fag?" The unexpected humor of the situation lightened the mood, and the man, though disheveled and exhausted, was quickly tended to by paramedics. These stories, though separated by thousands of miles, shared a common thread, a reminder of the unpredictability of life and the strength of the human will to survive. They highlighted the importance of community, the power of quick thinking, and the need for caution in the face of the unknown. And while Antonio's adventure had been a near tragedy, it ultimately ended in a tale of hope, resilience, and the kindness of strangers.